We are the Girls Who Gab.
I'm Kassie.
And I'm Bayley.
And today's episode is all about traveling, like what kind of travel we've done, what kind of travel we want to do.
What kind of travelers we are.
Mm-hmm.
She's done a lot more than I have, so a little bit more exotic, I feel, like your travels.
Yeah, I guess that's
I'm more
true.
like homebound a little bit. Just a tad bit.
True.
So,
I do feel that.
Yes.
Yeah. And if you've noticed, we're in a different location.
Yeah! I finally ventured on this side of town.
Yeah. We're at my place today. Normally we film at Bayley's,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, we're at my place, which is very odd.
I know.
You don't come over to my house ever.
Ever. You have cats and I'm not a fan.
Yeah, I'm sorry. So hopefully she doesn't die today.
Yeah, if you hear sniffling midway no, we should
That'll
be good.
It. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully it'll be fine. I tried to prepare the house as much as possible.
I know, I appreciate that. I'll see you in 4 months. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, true. This will probably be the last time here.
Actually, yeah, because you guys will be moving soon.
Mm-hmm.
Ish.
Soonish.
That's
hopefully
exciting.
Sooner than later. Well, it's going to be the same time no matter what, but.
Yeah. All right, well, it'll come before you know it, basically,
Mm-hmm.
with the way this year is looking.
So, I know, true.
What are you drinking?
Water!
Ditto.
Yeah, I have
It's
ice,
refreshing.
though.
Yeah, no ice for me.
You're
It's
so
not
funny.
good for you. Did you know that drinking cold water is
Yes,
not good for you?
I did know
because it kind
that.
of closes your airways.
I actually normally don't drink cold water, like icy water. I drink it just straight, like without ice. But today I'm really hot, so I'm like, I needed something to cool down the inner side.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm just warm.
To
and
help
I didn't
you.
want to sweat.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's why I put ice in mine.
Okay. Well, I'm not
Mhm.
drinking ice. Don't want to have an asthma attack.
Yeah. Do you have a pour one out?
Yeah, I do have a pour one out. It's kind of like one of those like funny pour one outs, whatever. But at work, right, we still have to wear masks. I'm in a county where we are open indoors now for my restaurant. So we're open indoors and outdoors, but you know, masks are still a thing. Gloves, I found out, are actually not mandatory in the county anymore, but gloves are mandatory per like restaurant request, per corporation request kind of thing. Well, my restaurant is one of those jobs that are kind of making it mandatory, like on their own, making their own calls and per se. Well, anyways, as soon as I found out that it wasn't mandatory in the county, I was like, yeah, I'm being a rebel and I'm going to take them off sometimes. I just get really bad at like eczema from it. My hands have been freaking out. They get super itchy. And then it's like, you can still see it on my wrist because I have a little bit of wrist space between my work shirt and my gloves. And it just looks unattractive. It looks gross. It's itchy. It's red. It's like, it's just disgusting. And honestly, quite honestly, my hands are more clean without wearing the gloves than wearing the gloves. So we were talking about it. There's crevices in the gloves. If you go to just wash straight the gloves with soap, it just, things can get hidden and trapped, and it's just no bueno. And then taking off the gloves is a whole thing because then your hands are sweaty from being in the gloves. You have to let them air out basically for like 5 minutes. I'm being dramatic. Then you have to put them back on. But it's just a whole process, and I wash my hands 100 times more without them, and I'm like more cautious about it. You were saying, and I didn't think about this, but you feel more things.
Yeah,
you know,
like,
your skin is touching it. Yeah,
like, if something is on you and it's sticky, you're gonna wash your hands a second time or again or whatever, more sooner than you would necessarily maybe with a glove on, because the glove you can't feel that it's sticky.
You don't feel the texture. You don't feel yeah, and exactly. So, anyways,
plus there's that video that went around like when COVID first started. Do you know what I'm talking about?
This, no.
So there's this video with, it's a nurse and she's talking about gloves because back at the start of COVID, a lot of people were like, just general people were buying gloves and wearing gloves like everywhere. And so she does this video with paint and basically it's like, okay, I'm touching my phone and she like adds paint and the paint is germs, right? So she's like, oh, now there's germs on my thing. And then now I touch my phone. Now the germs are on my phone. Then I put the phone up to my face. And now there's paint on my face.
Right.
And so she's basically showing that, like, unless you're changing your gloves every time you touch anything,
it's still the same thing. Yeah.
Right. So, like, if you go to the grocery store and you're wearing gloves and you're touching the bar, now, unless you don't touch anything else, you're going to contaminate whatever it is that has whatever germs are on the bar is going to go on your phone or on your bag or on your wallet or on your face if you scratch or something.
Right.
So, like, basically saying there's no point to it at all. It makes more sense to wipe down, like, if you were worried about the germs on the cart, wipe the cart down with a like bring a
wipe or
Clorox
whatever.
wipe.
Mm-hmm.
Do that, and then you've fixed the problem that you're trying to fix with gloves.
Yeah.
Gloves are
It's dumb, and I stopped wearing them. And like I said, I'm being a rebel. I'm like, this is ridiculous. This is dumb. I'm way more cleaner without them. So like the past like 4 shifts, I haven't been wearing them because I was like,
and then
this is stupid. And then last night, it's been like 4 shifts I haven't worn them, right? Well, during the week, it's obviously slower. So there's less people, there's less guests, there's less managers, there's less employees, right? So there's not as many people that can witness and copy what I'm doing. Well, one of the servers came up to me and she was like, "Oh, it's like no gloves, it's like not a thing anymore." And I was like, "It's kind of like my thing. Like it's just me. So like, don't do it if you want to. Just don't feel that I'm doing it, and then like go from there because it's like a hidden thing." And she was like, "Oh, well, I'm gonna do it." And then last night I get there and there's like 5 people not wearing gloves because it just kind of went around and like, "Oh, you're not, I'm not. You're not, I'm not." I'm like, we're gonna get caught. There's way more people here. There's way more managers' eyes. Blah blah blah. For the record, 2 of my managers don't wear gloves, so I was like, I'm just doing what they're doing. Monkey see, monkey do. And yeah. So, anyways, not mid shift at the beginning, one of the managers was like, "Wait a minute. Wait. You're not wearing gloves. You're not wearing gloves. What's happening? What did?" And he like started counting, and I like turned my butt back into the kitchen. I was like, "All right, guys, put on gloves.
Oh, no.
You guys are all fired because you ruined it for me.
Yeah,
and only me." Anyways, so that's my point out that I'm a little sad about the glove situation.
Yeah. And I was saying that like they should not be requiring gloves because potentially just like your hands are getting all like basically injured from it, like potentially that could be a really big problem for the company.
I'm getting a skin reaction from work. Yep.
If employees decided to like really make us think about it, they could.
They could. Sure. They absolutely could.
Yeah. So
we would too. I feel like a few people in our building would definitely make us think about it.
Yeah. Dang.
Okay, what's your pour?
My pour went out right this minute is that I have a headache.
Like right when we started.
Yeah, it's like starting right here. But I took some Excedrin, so it should go away.
Okay, and stay hydrated, so drink up.
Yeah, well, and I was drinking last night, so I'm sure that didn't help.
Right.
But yeah, that's my pour. Easy.
Oh, okay.
Easy going pour went out. It'll be fine.
Okay, my cheers to that, everybody, is that I haven't been on here for, well, it's been
2 weeks. Because we didn't do our Instagram last week.
Yeah, we didn't do the, our live or our Instagram feed, our story about our weekly pouring out, and cheers to that. So, update on the baby. Baby's name is Isaiah, because it's a baby boy!
Yay! Yay! Exactly what you've been hoping for. And I love that, like, it's just so exciting that, like, we've been talking about it, like, hopefully or probably being a boy the entire time.
I was so confident. Like, I was gonna be so shook if it was a girl, because I was like, there's no way this thing inside of me is a girl. Like, I just feel it, you know? Whatever.
Is it weird that there's a penis growing inside of you?
No.
It doesn't freak you out?
It doesn't really freak me out. It doesn't. I don't know. Whatever.
It's so funny. There's a penis.
It's not though. That's like, it's not. You're weird.
I'm sorry.
Can't wait till you have one inside of you.
I don't know.
In baby form? Never mind.
We're done with that one.
You brought it up.
Did you,
Yes.
Do you want to tell the story about the nurse or the ultrasound technician?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I forgot about that. I haven't told a lot of people. So, to be honest, did I even tell Andre that story? I don't think I did, because I think he would have been mad. And, okay, so the story is that I was there, and the
Andre,
nurse...
listen up. You watch our podcast.
Right, yeah. So, obviously, when you go for your ultrasound check-in around this time, they check everything. You know, the limbs, the bones, the heartbeat, everything, the brain size, everything. So it's a pretty, like, timely thing. But first, it's the nurse or whoever.
Like the ultrasound technician?
Yes, and then it's the main doctor that comes in. Okay. But so the ultrasound technician is the one that is in there for, like, 30 minutes checking everything, and the doctor will just come in and kind of verify it all.
Verifying that you have 10 toes and 10 fingers.
Exactly.
And all that.
Basically. So, and she just checks her work. So the nurse, the ultrasound technician came in and she was like, "Do you want to know?" I said, "No, but I do want to know. It's not like a surprise until birth. It's like, can you write it down in an envelope?" And so that's what she did and all that. She told me to look away. I looked away at the time come, blah, blah, blah. And then, like, later on in the appointment, she had already found out the gender or whatever, I don't know. Later on, she was like, yeah, so, I don't even remember what she said, but she had said she.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, that's her nose or something like that. Something about her face and her profile. It was like a perfect profile picture of the baby. And she was like, oh, yeah, and her little nose. And I, like, heard it, but I didn't react. But I heard it, and I knew I heard correctly, and I was like,
what do you mean?
What do you mean? You just said, like, what? I was so upset. I, like, called my mom after. I was like, Mom, she did this. Did she do it on purpose? Did she do it to confuse me? Did it slip? Like, I was all in my head about it. But I never told Andre, and then we found out, and then it was a boy. So I was like, forgotten about. Da-da-da. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can't.
I was like, oh my god. I didn't know how to react for you because I was like, I don't want to freak her out more. I don't know what to say that will do less. Like, I don't know what will make it worse or not.
And I wasn't really, like, freaking out because I knew. It was cute the way we revealed it. I had no idea, you know, it was so cute. But, I just was, it was going to be a little bit sad because, like, I had no name picked out for a girl. There was nothing prepared. And that was my most worrisome, like stress about the situation. This
happened the first time around, too.
But at the gender reveal, like, we were somewhat leaning towards a name for both gender. Mm-hmm. And so by the time of the event, we were like, okay, these are the two names. Mm-hmm. Whatever it is.
I remember, because, okay, so, like, for Amelia's gender reveal, I was the one that was, like, in charge. I helped, I mean, your mom helped me. She's the one that got the cupcakes and everything. But I actually called, so originally the plan was to just have the cupcakes be filled with whatever color, and then we would all eat it, and then we would find out the gender. But I also bought the piñata that you guys use. Yep. And then I also decided that I wanted to have
the name
written on the cupcakes. So I called the bakery after your mom had already made the order, and I said, hi, I'm changing it. Can you please add this? Mm-hmm. And she was like, is it okay, like, you're gonna know it before you open it up? And I'm like, I know, I still fill it with pink, that's fine, but I want the name on it. But at the time that I decided that, you didn't have a middle name picked out for Amelia. And so that was why you were
so pushy.
Hi, so, like, I know that you know the name for the boy, but, like, I need to know the name for both because we need to know the name for both.
Right.
Because you're gonna find out the name.
And that never, like, that's so subtle, but, like, also I feel like I would have been like, why? You wouldn't have been asking me this if it was the boy. You know what I mean?
Was a little bit nervous
but it never hit me.
Because I was worried you would figure out that was why I was being pushy. Because, like, if it was a boy, then I had everything. I had the name.
You wouldn't need to ask questions. Mm-hmm. Right.
So I was like, how do I ask without them figuring it out? But I feel like what worked really well was because I was at the appointment with you guys for the same appointment that you just were talking about for Isaiah. And so I was basically just, like, throwing out just names in general. We were just talking about it, and it wasn't specifically for the party in the conversation yet.
Right.
But I don't know. I was just like, I'm just gonna go with it.
I gotta do it. I need it to be done.
I need the name.
Yeah.
Tell me the name.
Oh, yeah. That was funny. So that was, like, my most thing with, like, if it was going to be a girl, oh my gosh. But I didn't have much time to, like, really quick to touch base on the, like, reveal. If you don't follow me on my personal page, what I did is I had it in the envelope, and then I knew that I was going to record us because, you know, I wanted to do a gender reveal party, but that's not a thing right now. So I knew that I wanted it to be, like, recorded for our reactions and pictures and all that stuff. And so what I did is I set up the camera on my tripod, and then I had Amelia in front of us, and we're behind her in the background, and she opened it, and then she just yelled the color that she saw, and so that was really cute. Yeah, at first she was like, "It's green," and I was just like, "What?" And then I was all anxious.
Over there.
I
didn't hear what she said, and then you're like, "Don't look at it! Don't look!"
I was stressed. I was like, "I don't want to look! Don't look! No, don't look yet!" I was weird, but I get anxious in those situations. Like, if I watch. Same thing with, like, cooking shows or singing shows. Like, if you've ever watched it with me, I will close my ears, like, block my ears, and I will just watch to see who wins. Like, I don't like to hear the names or anything because I get anxiety about it. Not real anxiety, but, like, yeah, it's a thing, and it's weird, funny. And I don't know what's happening.
That's funny.
I'm weird.
Oh my god.
So that was a long cheers to that. I'm having a boy, and
Yay.
we're super excited. Yeah.
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
So many boy things.
I know. I'm pumped. I already made a registry. It's a whole different topic, but I'm excited.
I'm excited.
Do cheers to that.
Well, one cheers to that is related to my pour one out the last time that we filmed, which was like Matt might have COVID. Matt didn't get COVID.
Oh, yes.
So he did not have COVID. Oh, and that's my cheers to that, is that because he didn't get COVID, we went up north and visited family.
Yeah.
And stayed up there. So that was nice. I got to see my friend Andrea too. We went wine tasting, which was cool. And it's like a whole different world up there. Like, nobody wears masks. It was insane. Yeah. Like, we went out to a restaurant, and it was the same weekend that, it was the first weekend that county had opened up indoor seating the same way that yours is.
Okay.
So 25%. All of the servers, well, we only went to one restaurant, but at that restaurant, the server came up and asked if we wanted her to keep her mask on. And my aunt and grandma said, no, it's okay. And so she took her mask off. And, like, we weren't wearing masks because we're sitting down in the restaurant. And we didn't technically, like down here, if you aren't wearing your mask when you walk in, they make you put it on just to go sit down.
Even to go to the restroom.
Yeah. And mind you, the restaurant was super small. It was like, 4 steps from the front to get to the seat.
Right.
But we didn't have masks. We didn't even bring them because my grandma was like, oh, you don't need them.
Ah, that's
so weird. I was like,
it's like a different universe.
Yeah. It was so bizarre and, like, not necessarily bad. It was just really weird.
Yeah.
Like, I felt like I was in a whole different world. Like,
like it's weird because, to touch base on that really quick, is, like, I wish that everybody, every county, every state was on the same page, because that's how it's traveling. One county is opening up and not giving, like, 2 shits about it. They're gonna travel. They're gonna go places, and that's
they
how
might
it
work
gets
in
spread.
Another county or whatever, or live in a different county or whatever. So then, like, if you, like, are going to a grocery store in one county but then going to work in another.
Yeah, or you're meeting some friends in a whole different county, i.e., like this situation right here. My county is still, where I live. They're not opening yet. So it's just like, I just wish we were all on the same page, because that's how it would completely stop. I don't know. It's whatever. It's forever going to be a thing now anyways, whatever. Vaccine's almost out.
Vaccine!
Yeah.
Hopefully soon.
It's in the month of November.
Yeah, the thing that I've been reading is that even if it comes out in November, it's not going to, like, be generally available to everyone. They're going to, like, do it in...
sporadically, little...
Yeah, so they're going to say, like, oh, if you're over the age of whatever, then you can get it. Or if you have...
It's kind of what they did with,
diseases,
like... Okay, yeah.
Like, illnesses that make you more susceptible
Prone.
or whatever. Or more likely to get really, really ill.
Right.
Then you'll be first. And then it'll go from there.
Yeah.
I really hope that they put kids up earlier, even though kids are not, like, dying from this very much. Like, I mean, percentage-wise. But schools. Like, let's get kids back in the schools as soon as we can.
Yeah, especially the little ones.
I'm so isolated.
Yeah, I know.
Anyways, not the point of this podcast.
Yep.
So let's move on into this.
Let's get it going.
Episode.
Yep, so traveling. So let's talk about kind of, like, where we've been. Because in the beginning I had mentioned that you're very, like, what was the word that I used?
Like, I'm more,
I used the word exotic. Just because you've been more to, like, the real, like, the traveling sites, the where you want to go bucket list places. And I'm over here just, like...
It's funny that you say that, because I don't feel that way. I don't feel like I've been to enough places.
You've been so many places, I feel. I don't know. Also, maybe I'm just really thinking of your Puerto Rico trip that was supposed to happen this year, and I'm
Costa Rica.
That's what I said. That's a traveling spot. But then it got canceled.
I know, I'm really bitter
so, like, maybe that's the one that I'm thinking about.
Well, okay, so the two, the 2 biggest places I've been, the 2, like, out-of-country places I've been is China. I went to Beijing when I was 18.
That's so cool.
So that was really cool. I got to walk on the Great Wall, and I saw Tiananmen Square. I saw the Forbidden City, and all these stuff.
That's so cool.
Yeah, that, I mean, is crazy. We were only there for 8 days, but we did a lot. We got to see
there for 8 days, no big deal.
That's, like, short to me.
Well, especially with a place
so
that has so far, the traveling takes, a day in itself. but with a place with so many tourist spots within, it's like, that's a lot
we were
to...
like, go.
Yeah, you were on a time crunch schedule.
So we went to Beijing, and we also saw, like, the biggest Buddha statue that exists. It's like a live tree that is carved into a Buddha.
Oh, cool.
Like the big Buddha, the Chinese Buddha versus the Indian Buddha that is more smaller.
Petite.
Yeah. So that was really cool. The Great Wall is definitely what sticks out to me for that trip. And then I've also been to the Bahamas. That's my other out of country. Oh, I guess I've technically been to Canada, but like it was on the way to China. It wasn't. We like stopped in Canada.
Oh, did you stay there?
No, we were there.
It was just a layover.
But we were there for like 16 hours.
But in the airport, you didn't go.
I don't remember if we left, but I have some Canadian money from it.
Do you really? You still have it?
Some coins.
Cool. See, you are a traveler. I have Mexico.
I've been to Mexico. I guess we've been to Mexico together.
We've been to Mexico, yeah.
So that was that's all of my out of country. I think. I'm pretty sure. And then Costa Rica was supposed to happen.
Have you ever been to Hawaii?
Yeah, but that's in the country.
Technically, but that's also a big. Well, I feel like nowadays it's kind of gone less on like a travel spot for people. People are being a little bit more adventurous, but like
Hawaii's really expensive.
Really expensive. But yeah, I feel like that used to be a really big bucket list place to go. You know.
Yeah. So I went to.
Even though it's in the
States. I went to Hawaii when I was. So a lot of these are happened when I was young. So like I went to the Bahamas. And I went to Hawaii, and I went to Florida twice for Disney World and Harry Potter World. All of those happened when I was under 12.
Yeah.
And then I've also been to Washington and Oregon and, like, all of the states, like, right next to the West Coast.
Okay.
So, like, I've been to Montana.
West of the...
So, like, right next to it.
So, like, the Mississippi River, east states.
No. So, like, West Coast. So, Washington, Oregon, California. And I've been to all the states right next to them.
I follow. Complete opposite side. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I've technically lived in New York, but I was under 1 year old, so I don't count it. And other than that, I've never been to the East Coast, like, northern East Coast.
Okay, got it.
I've been to Arkansas and Texas, New Mexico, Arizona.
Yeah.
All of those bottom states. Oh, no, freaking Louisiana. I've been to New Orleans. I went there for 9 days recently. Yeah, we went for 2 New Year's ago.
Yeah.
That was Matt's, like, Christmas birthday present.
/ they kind of knew they were going to do it for their...
It was, like, our pre-honeymoon.
It was, like...
It was basically our honeymoon, but we did it before we got married.
Yeah. A few months.
Yeah.
But that was a good trip for you guys.
That one was really fun.
Yeah, see, that's why I say you're a little bit more exotic. Because my traveling is, I've been to a lot of the states when I was little, so, like, I don't remember any of it, basically. My mom and my grandparents had an RV, and so we just drove around the states, and, like, I've been to a bunch of those states on the east of the Mississippi River. Okay. And then I've also been, like, north of the states. And then I've lived in New Mexico and California. And I was born in Texas, but like I was there less than a year.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So I haven't really been.
I was born in California, and then my mom and dad moved to New York for that first year, and then my parents got divorced, and my mom came back. Yeah. And I've never lived anywhere else. Right. So I don't consider myself anywhere but Californian.
That's what I say. But then a part of me is like, no, I was born in Texas. But like,
well, and you were born in Texas. Like, I was born in California. Right. Still. So
you don't count that year in Florida.
In New York. Yeah.
Yeah. That's so weird. Okay. Yeah. So I the only places that I've been outside of the country is Mexico.
And where'd you go? Was that in Mexico, your honeymoon?
Yeah, so my honeymoon was in Cancun. I go to TJ often, and then Ensenada for when that was our trip when we did for my bachelorette. But that's it. That's like, and I don't really see that as like the most like fancy trip or whatever, however you want to call it, that I've done is my Cancun trip. It was a completely all-inclusive resort, and that was really nice. And it was just me and my husband, that was for our honeymoon, and so it was like really nice. But I haven't done any like real traveling, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I see that. And like there is a difference between, because like the Costa Rica trip that got canceled was going to be an all-inclusive resort trip, and like in my head that kind of trip is way different than like what I did going to Beijing, because I mean, yeah, I still stayed in a hotel, of course. Like I've never done anything like my friend Kelsey went backpacking across Europe, and like by herself. She's crazy, and it's an amazing thing that like her stories are so cool, and like I wish I had the balls.
I know. I don't. Seriously.
I would do it like, well, okay, what is determined of backpacking for her, that meant like staying in hostels, and then every once in a while she stayed in an actual hotel, and I don't think I could do hostels. I think I could do hostels with a friend, not with Matt though, and I don't know why. I think it's because like for a trip with me and Matt, I would want my privacy with my husband.
Absolutely. Duh.
Whereas like with friends, I wouldn't mind being in a hostel and sharing the space with random people, as long as I wasn't by myself. The idea of traveling by myself is
just
really
with strangers kind of stresses.
For so long too. And being out of the country, like you don't necessarily have access to like a phone the same way that you do when you're here,
or just people in general. You can't say, hey, I'm here, come save me, or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. So
hours and hours
crazy. Away. So like I would love to take a trip like Kelsey did to Europe, going into like some things I would like to do. I really want to go to Europe, and I want to go to a lot of places in Europe.
Yeah.
Just all of it.
There's so many checklist things there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Same. There's a lot of, I don't really have like main destination points, but I do have a lot of places I want to go. I want to go to Hawaii. I want to go to Victoria, Canada. I want to go to Greece. Greece is on my checklist. I really want to go there, but I don't have like a point, an exact pin drop. I just know I want to go somewhere within, and experience it in general. And the experiences so I'm a very extra person. Going to Cancun, I realize I love the all-inclusive stuff, but I do also want to, I know that experience isn't every, country that you visit. So like I love the idea of just also getting an Airbnb somewhere, or going to a place where I still have to figure everything out and making it kind of like an exploratory.
Yeah, and like
thing.
For me, I think going back to what I was starting to say about the all-inclusive resort versus not. Yeah. Like an all-inclusive resort, you tend to be around Americans. Yes. Like you tend to be surrounded by other tourists.
Yes.
So it's a different experience than like when we went to New Orleans, we stayed in an Airbnb, which there we were by ourselves. I mean, we did have the contact person of the house. Right. So like we were in a back house of an actual house.
Yes.
But that actual house, the people who owned the building, they were also out of town. So we only saw their like sister or someone. She like came over and like fed the cats or something.
Okay.
So we saw her every once in a while, but we lifted everywhere, which was a really cool experience because we got to listen to people who live in New Orleans.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
The whole time, and they like told us a bunch of like history stuff. They talked a lot about like the stuff that's still going on with Hurricane Katrina. Like this was before the recent hurricanes because it was 2 years ago.
Now 2 hurricanes. It's crazy. One just hit yesterday.
So that was cool. And then they also told us like they gave us a couple different spots to try out and things like that. So that was really fun. And again, a totally different experience than like staying in one like resort where that's kind of your
you're kind of stuck because, and that's why I'm saying I would love to experience both. Well, I've already experienced one, but experience the other where you just Airbnb and have to plan and organize your whole trip. Because when you pay for an all-inclusive thing, not that you are stuck, you can go wherever you want, but you feel like, well, I paid for it. Why am I going to leave and not enjoy the food that they're going to give me for free? You know what I mean?
For what you've already paid for.
Yeah, why am I going to go out and spend more money on top of already? So it kind of, you aren't trapped, but you feel trapped because you don't want to waste more money and blah, blah, blah. And so when we went to Cancun, I was very disappointed in the food. And that's why I bring that topic up is like I felt trapped because I didn't want to waste my money when I had free restaurants everywhere, basically. But I was just mad with the food because of what you said. It was very American. And I was so upset. I wanted the authentic, Mexican food, which in resorts, they a lot of the times bring you a bunch of different cultures in, and you have many different types of restaurant. There was a delicious Japanese restaurant that we went to, but like a majority of all the food was very like Mexican, but like American Mexican.
Gotcha.
Like, you know,
like not even as good
bit.
of Mexican food as you can get here.
Exactly. And I was very upset. And Andre and I were just talking about it a couple days ago. He was like, well, they have to do that because they have to, you know, that's the type of clientele that they're getting. I'm like, I get that, but I'm also going to Mexico for a Mexico experience. You know what I mean? Like, I want the food.
Mm-hmm. That was one thing about going to Beijing that was really hard when I was 18. So, like, I think I've talked about this on the podcast, but you definitely know. Like, I used to be extremely picky to the point where, like, I really had a hard time with food. Yeah. I didn't eat very many options.
Bean and cheese burrito and pizza. Something like that.
Yeah, like grilled cheese, the end of list.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, going to China and at the hotel, we did have a, what's that called? Like a continental breakfast, it was very American. Like, the hotel was, it's interesting too because Beijing is a tourist spot for other Chinese people. So, like, people from all over the country come to Beijing. So you're not necessarily catering to the tourists of America. Because realistically, Americans don't really go to China. Like,
I don't think they will now either.
Sorry
about that.
But yeah, so, like, it's not the same way as, like, Mexico is a very common American tourist spot. But easy China, Beijing, not really.
Yeah.
So the tourist aspect was very different. You're still catering a lot to the Chinese culture, which is cool because we got to try a bunch of food. And we went to a bunch of restaurants that were, like, in Beijing. I tried duck for the first time there. We did a lot of, like, dumplings and just a lot of food. But because I was so picky, I really struggled and I ate a lot of white rice for my entire meal. Like, I couldn't hang with a lot of it. And I look back and I'm, like, really disappointed by that because now I think I would be a lot more adventurous than I used to be.
Well, as a kid, you're a little stubborn too, so you of course don't want to test anything.
I was so scared of food. Yeah. Like, if it looked weird, I was like, I'm not putting that in my mouth. I can't. And I still do that about some things. Don't get me wrong. I still struggle with food like that in some ways, but
her list is a lot shorter now.
Yeah, there's a lot more things that I'll eat. So the duck was, like, really surprising. I actually really liked the duck. And we saw the whole duck. Like, we watched them cut the head off.
That? That makes zero sense.
I know.
You're weird. You're a weirdo.
I don't know.
Don't understand.
But we watched them, like, carve it. Like, you carve a turkey. But it had a head on it.
You're so funny. Everything has a head on it.
I mean, yeah, but not usually where you can see it after you buy it here. Yeah. So, yeah, that is...
See, that's what I want. I want to go out, and I really want to get just a completely different culture experience, you know?
Mm-hmm. What is your least favorite part of traveling?
The expense.
The cost.
I mean, yeah, it's everything, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. That would be my answer.
The cost. Second?
I honestly don't think I really have a downfall to traveling.
Okay.
I'm the type of person that enjoys both planning out and getting organized on a trip, but I also enjoy that let's just kind of, fuck it, let's do whatever we want today. Let's not make a list and let's, you know.
Yeah.
You know, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't think I have that.
Yeah, the cost is also definitely, like, I mean, kind of, I wish traveling wasn't as expensive as it is because I would really love to go a lot more places, but just cost is what kind of keeps me from doing it.
Yeah.
And cost aside, my least favorite part of traveling is when you change time zones and, like,
really,
jet
you don't
lag.
like that? Okay, I've never done a dramatic one. I've done the 1 hour from New Mexico to California, and that's all I get. No. But
jet lag is terrible. So, like, New Orleans was actually pretty nice because me and Matt are pretty much early birds, so we tend to go to bed, like, around 9 or 10. Going to New Orleans, 9 or 10 is actually, like, 12. So it was perfect because we wanted the nightlife. So we didn't really feel jet lag. We just transitioned our time frames of when we were sleeping. And then it worked out perfectly coming back home for the same reason.
Right.
So that actually was very nice.
But the longer trips.
Going to China, we were only there for 8 days. And for 3 of those days, you're dealing with jet lag. Mm-hmm. So
That sucks. See, that would not be enjoyable because you have to plan a
8
long
days
vacation.
is not enough for a 14-hour time difference.
Yeah, that would suck.
Yeah. And like, one of the places I really want to go is Australia, mostly because I have 2 friends there. Yeah. And so I really want to go to Australia. I'm really freaked out by the bugs, but you know, it's fine. So when both of my friends from Australia have come and visited us, and it's almost a 12-hour difference. It's you lose a day or gain a day when you travel there.
Yeah.
But you're like on opposite time. So when you get here, it's like anywhere between a 14 to 17-hour difference. So like when Momo came, it was still early morning when it was like afternoon here. Mm-hmm. And then opposite when she came home. So like that is such a huge, your body is like, it takes so much time to get here. So that's why when they came and visited, they were both here for over a month. That's how long they stayed, because part of the travel time is you getting used to being in a different time zone.
Right.
And so that's why I mentioned that 8 days is not long enough when you go somewhere that's...
Because you literally have to set aside, one, the distance to get there.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have to plan out, okay, let's do a recovery day. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yes. You kind of have to let your circadian rhythm get
and you have to do the same thing at the end of the trip.
Uh-huh. So, so you need, like, I've done this, like, when we went to New Orleans, we came back and, like, I think we took 1 day off to get home, to stay home, and then we went back to work. But, like, when I came back from China, I luckily didn't have a job at the time, or I did have a job, but I think I quit it to go. Because I was 18 still living at home. I didn't need the job.
Whatever, yeah.
And then I also wasn't going to school. It was summer. So it was, like, perfect. I slept for, like, 2 days almost. Like, just sleeping and eating, and that was it.
Love that.
Because your body just...
needs it.
Yeah, needs to recuperate.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you like flying?
I love flying.
Me too.
Yeah, I have no anxiety flying. I have no worries. I don't mind it.
Yeah.
I love it. Mm-hmm. I've never had an issue, so.
Yeah, a lot of, when going to, we took 2 planes to go to China. The first one was it was like 4 hours to go up to Canada.
Short. Uh-huh.
And then you have a 13-hour flight
to
China. So that was the short one. And a few of the people that went, I went with like it was like a school trip, basically. So I went with a bunch.
School trip.
It wasn't a school trip as in like mandatory. It was a trip that my teacher put together through an educational grant.
Right.
And you still had to pay to go.
Of course. It's just funny hearing that because like my school trip was like to the spaghetti factory down the street.
Like those were most of the normal.
I know.
But I always wanted to go on the fancy big trips. So like in middle school we went to Florida. I got to swim with manatees. And that was for an educational trip. It's a sea cow. They're really cute. Do you know what a manatee is?
What the heck? My school never had those.
Like anything?
Like anything. The trips that happened were if you were a part of like a traveling team, sport, whatever. And cheer was thankfully to me. So like that was for every summer, our summer camps was in a different state.
Oh, okay.
And then we went to Disney World for competition. So that was cool because then we did the Disney World experience and that was a blast. We went to Universal Studios. So, California. And that was a blast. But like never anything like that. Like there was no...
Yeah, so a lot
New Mexico, step up your game.
A lot of the schools will do a spring break one or a summer one. So like Lauren went to Paris in high school for an educational trip. My middle school did the Florida one, and then my high school did the China one. And then I think they did Europe one year too, but I didn't do that one. So okay, question is, do you, for the places you want to go, is it, you mentioned that like it's more just like in general, like Greece, not so much like a specific thing you want to see, but is there anything like one of the wonders of the world or some historical building or like Disney World or something like that you like really want to go to?
Yeah, I really want to see the Eiffel Tower in person. And I'm such a picture person. I want to have photos of that. You know what I mean? But But no. See, I'm just like, eh. Like, we lived up north for a second, and like, San Francisco Bridge, oh my god, that wasn't big to me, but like, so many people are on the side of the road taking pictures of the dang bridge.
Yeah.
I'm just not like that. I don't know. You know what I mean?
Did you go down the windy road? That's like a big thing.
The one through the mountains?
No. In San Francisco.
I didn't know what you're talking about.
There's a road in San Francisco that...
In the city already?
In the city.
Okay.
Now, I don't think you're allowed to drive through it the same way that you used to be able to. They, like, changed the law or something.
Probably because too many people were...
Yeah.
Okay.
So this street is so curved that you can't take a big car down it, like an Escalade. You can't take, like, which we did. It was terrible. But you're supposed to take a small car down it, and it's just a... I'll find you a picture. It's crazy.
Yeah, I do not want to do that. That sounds not enjoyable
you
to
just
my stomach.
It's just a... No. You go really slow.
But that does not sound enjoyable.
You have to go like 5 miles an hour because it is.
I feel like now that you're saying it though, I feel like I've seen photos of this.
Yeah, it's like a famous thing to do in San Francisco.
Also, sit in the park that the Friends thing was at, and take pictures of the Friends hat, or not.
Go to the Ghirardelli store.
Full House. Yeah.
Yeah, the Full House is on that street.
Yes.
So you go down the
So that's why I think I have seen it then.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't have a lot of those spots. I think the Eiffel Tower is like the thing.
The only
Leaning
one.
Tower of Pisa, blah, blah. But like, no, I really, you know what? Actually, one that I really want to do is I want to see the pyramids in Mexico. I don't want to see the Egyptian pyramids. Fun time. I want to see the ones in Mexico. I don't know why. I think because that's where my husband comes from, and it's like that specific Yucatan area is also kind of where his family's from, and so I'm just like, that would be cool. I think that'd be enjoyable.
Yeah, I want to do that too. There's a bunch for me. Like, I'm big on the reason like I wanted to go to New Orleans. Well, one is because Matt is obsessed with New Orleans. Like, for a while, he did a lot of art that was related to New Orleans, like history and kind of tradition and stuff. So that was part of why I chose it, because it's like his present. But also I wanted to go to New Orleans because it just has this huge history. Like, one, the architecture is like really cool. So just like going around and seeing the buildings was really fun.
I know. That's so cute.
And then like going through some of the like, there's Madame Laurie's house, which is like a terrible, horrific story about this woman who owned a bunch of slaves and tortured them for fun. Yeah. And like did surgical experiments on them. But yeah, so like we went and saw her house and listened to the history of that. And that's why like part of what was really cool to go was to listen to all of our Lyft drivers talk about Hurricane Katrina, because like they're still living with all that damage too, but also it's just this like big event of history that we got to listen to firsthand experience on. Yeah. So it's just, I really love that type of stuff. So like part of why I want to go to Europe is because of there's all of these like museums and the Leaning Tower of Pisa and the Eiffel Tower and like different things like that I want to go see. I want to go see the where all the in England, the guys with the red coats and the big hats, and they just stand there. And
then their chin strap lays on top of their chin.
Yeah, that one. Yeah. I want to see that. The reason
I want to take photos with them.
Yeah.
That would be fun, like mess with that. Yeah.
And like Beijing, obviously, Great Wall, like Tiananmen Square, all that like history there. So like I really love that type of stuff.
See, you like the pinpoint destinations and where you want to go.
And like whether it's natural stuff or like historical stuff, like what I've been mentioning. So like some of the natural stuff, like we went to the hot springs that are in Montana. Yosemite. There's like a giant
there
geyser.
Are a lot of hot springs.
There's
places.
like a specific famous geyser somewhere.
Okay, don't know where that is.
In northern west U.S.
Okay.
And I don't remember where it is, but I went there and I saw the giant geyser. And like Seattle, I went to the Space Needle. And
Grand Canyon.
Grand Canyon I've been to.
Me too. No, I haven't. I've seen it in the air.
Oh. Like on a plane?
Yeah, on a plane.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Where's the Grand Canyon again? This is my problem. Is I've been to a lot of places, but I don't always remember what state they're in.
Well, technically it's in 2 states, right?
Yeah. Arizona
so it's in
Nevada?
Arizona and, I think maybe Nevada, but I thought it was like Utah. What else? Colorado? What's right there?
Oh, I really want to go to Colorado. And I want
I've
to
been
go
to
to
Colorado. They have really good skiing mountains there.
I don't do that. So.
You're right. You don't. Why did I bring that up? I don't know.
Oh yeah, so that's something you could talk about though. Like, would you go places? Okay, so like,
what's within the U.S. that I would go,
or like some things like that, like skiing or snorkeling or whatever. What are some things that you want to do?
Okay, swim with dolphins.
Swim with dolphins.
Which I did that. I did that in Cancun, so that was something really cool that I did. And I want to go see the Grand Canyon. That's one. What else does I want to do?
If you go to when you go to the Grand Canyon, will you go on the
glass thing? I'm gonna tell you no, but I might. But
will you go on a donkey trail, like where the donkey takes you?
Yeah.
Fuck no, I'm not doing.
Wait. What do you mean? I don't think the donkey just takes me. Takes me where? Takes me on what?
There's these trails in the Grand Canyon that are really narrow. So they don't allow you to walk on it. You have to take the donkey because the donkey knows how to step on these very narrow.
Maybe I won't do that because I'm not gonna put my life on it. No. Maybe I won't do that. I didn't understand that question and now I understand it. So the answer is also no.
My mom went on that on her honeymoon with Roger, and she got a panic attack and they had to turn around and it was terrible. So I'm not going on it.
Oh God, yeah. No thanks. If you're already doubting it, you shouldn't do it.
No, I'm afraid of heights. There's absolutely no way you're getting me on either of those.
I'm not, but I still don't want to put my life on a donkey. No thanks.
No, donkey.
No, not doing that.
Okay, so
I really want to go to Tennessee just because I love Nashville technically, but just country music. It's the city of that, and I there's a lot of spots in that, tourist spots in that, and I want to go to that. Where else? I really want to go to Times Square and just straight walk in Times Square. Like that sounds weird. Yeah.
At least window shop.
For sure. Yeah, I really want to hike up to the Hollywood sign, and I freaking live in that state.
Have you ever been to the Griffith Observatory?
No, and I really want to do that too.
It's a good spot.
Even just to go to the park right there, I really want to do that.
I always I took all of my, like when my Australian friends came and visited and stuff like that, I always take them to the Griffith Observatory because hiking up to the Hollywood sign I've never actually done, and it just sounds like a lot of work, and I'm not really that interested in doing that.
Okay, so we're gonna do that then.
But the Griffith Observatory, you basically get the perfect view of the Hollywood sign.
Yeah.
You get exactly what the tourist wants from that, and then you also get to go to the Griffith Observatory, which is really cool.
Yep.
But apparently you're gonna take me to the Hollywood sign.
I am. I'm gonna make you do it.
Okay.
You work out. You're fine.
I don't think I won't be able to do it. I just don't really want to.
It just doesn't sound like a good time.
It doesn't really sound like something that has a great
enjoyable
reason ending. Like, why would I do that?
Why did I do that? Meh.
Yeah, that's a good one. I really want to go snorkeling in clear water.
Yes. I've gone snorkeling. It's gorgeous.
I think that we did it in Hawaii when I was young, but I mentioned that a lot of these trips I took when I was really young, and I don't really have great memories of them. Like, my memory is not good enough for that. You know that you went, there's snippets, and that's it. Yeah. The biggest memory from going to Hawaii that I remember is that my grandma and my aunt got food poisoning, and I was really afraid of throw up, and so then I was very upset that they were throwing up. I didn't see any
horrible
throw up.
Memory.
I was just really mad. And, like, I had my mom's hotel, like, the two hotel rooms were right next to each other, and I was staying with Grandma and Alicia because... Yeah. It's cool to be away from your parents. And then I was mad and I ran over to her hotel room and made her let me in. Because I didn't want to be around the throne. Oh, you poor thing. Yeah, it was terrible. Oh my gosh. So that's like the memory of Hawaii. Not the snorkeling. That sucks. Or Hawaii. Blue waters, beaches, really it's fine. I don't remember anything from Hawaii except for that. Bummer. Let's see. What else? I think that's really it. I've kind of... Yeah, I don't know. Would you ever go, like, scuba diving? Or... Probably not, because I'm... this is weird that you asked that. It's funny that you asked that, because I'm terrified of sharks. I feel like that's the way I'm gonna exit this world. So... And they say that if you had that in another dimension, that's how you died, or something like that. Oh. Have you ever heard that? I've probably fallen. That's why I'm so afraid of heights. That's what they say. If you're... I didn't know that was a thing. Yeah.
I might be saying it wrong, like another dimension or something, but in a parallel universe, that is the way that you did die or something like that. Yeah. So, anyways, I'm terrified of sharks. I won't go to. You take me to the beaches, that's fine. I'll go to the beach, but I'll dip my toes in the water, but I won't.
Oh yeah, you don't go in the water.
I do not go in the ocean. I hate it. Not a fan. It's also far too cold.
Here,
I'll just freeze my. Here, you're right. You're right. So I don't think I would ever go do that unless it's a big tourist spot. Clear water where we can see them from miles away or whatever. I don't know though. Still a little hesitant.
Yeah. So I went snorkeling when I went swimming with the manatees. We were snorkeling, but where manatees live, it's really murky water because they live in the middle, like where salt water meets fresh water. That's like their habitat. So the water is more moving. So like you get a lot of dirt and stuff that comes up from like the rivers. So you can't see very well. So when you're snorkeling for the manatees, you're really just waiting for the manatees to show up.
You're not looking at.
You're not really. Yeah.
Small
We
fish on the
did
ground
go
like that.
when that same trip. We did snorkel through this river. So the river is moving so much, and it's again that middle salt and fresh water. So you're buoyant. So you just like lay there, and it moves you, and you get to watch everything. It was
that's
really
cool.
But there were alligators in the river.
No thanks.
Which we didn't know about it initially. So we were told, we were with a tour guide. The tour guide says, here's what's going to happen if there's an alligator. This is like how we're going to handle it. And it's likely that it'll happen. So we're just going to keep an eye out. And if you get this notification from us, like there's some sort of hand signal or whatever, then you're going to all come to me, and then we're going to go. And do whatever we're supposed to do. And so that happened. It was so weird. But the alligator was like really far away. But
no thanks.
It was. I didn't like that.
Oh my gosh, no. Would not do that. See, when we went snorkeling in Cancun, we went to, so we stayed in Cancun, and then the Isla Mujeres, which is an island right across the way, very small island. We just took the boat there, and we snorkeled right in the middle. And it was clearish water, a little bit murky, but not so much. It's just a small little area. And, but in the moment, I actually didn't think of anything. I was just kind of like, oh, we're going snorkeling, okay. And I like dove right in. And so I wasn't worried about it. So maybe like given the chance and like just in the moment.
Yeah. One scuba diving, I don't know. I like want to scuba dive.
That's too far down for me.
I want to, but I think that I'm nervous that I would get down into this scuba diving thing and then feel trapped.
See, no.
Because, like, you can breathe. Obviously, you have the thing and the tank and whatever. But I think I would get, like, claustrophobic. But you're in an open space, so I don't know if that's, like, technically what it would be. No, it makes sense,
though, yes.
But, yeah, I'm worried that I would want to do it and then get into it and then all of a sudden have a freak out.
Right.
And that's what makes me nervous about it. But, like, I would love to do it in a clear water situation, not deep sea scuba diving, not anything crazy. Like, I'm not trying to do that crazy, the challenge that they do. There's, like, scuba diving challenges where they, like, you have to go and then wait until you equilibrialize, and then you go further down, and you go really, really far down. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about, like, tourist scuba diving.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think I would do it, but I would want to do it somewhere like Hawaii or whatever, where it's
clear blue water, and it's very known for doing it.
And I just want to see sea turtles.
I know. I do want to see sea turtles too. Swim around them.
Yeah,
because I've seen sea turtles. But
yeah. Yeah.
So those are the things.
I think I'm bigger on I'm definitely bigger on like any type of beachy thing or history thing versus anywhere where snow is like.
That's Andre, and I really want to go to the snow. I want to I want to go to Alaska and have it be sunny all day.
I will go to
the
Alaska.
Snow and just.
I want to see the Northern Lights.
Yeah, I do want to see the Northern Lights too. But that's a good one.
That's it. I don't want to go to the snow.
get off the airplane, I can see them, and I'll go back home now.
Or I'll just see them from, like, a cabin.
Dear sweet goodness. Yeah, I mean, that's fine. I'm down to say, okay, so talking about what type of travels, like, not, like, not the housing of where we stay, but, like, environments, like, I'm down for it all. Give me the beaches. Andre likes beaches more than me. Give me put me in deep snow and trap me in a house for weeks. I don't care. Like, I'm good to be trapped in a house. You know what I mean? And not have to do anything. As long as I'm somewhere else and it's a different view for me, that sounds so enjoyable. I'm down to be put in a forest. I'm down for anything. The dry states, climates, like Australia. Down for that.
Yeah, I want to go everywhere. I want to go to every continent except for Antarctica. Who cares about Antarctica?
Antarcticans. Just kidding.
But I do want to touch every continent except for Antarctica. I don't care about that one.
Yeah.
I'd love to do that. Or even better, no, not every country. That would be a lot of work. But every continent. So I've touched China, North America, South America. So I need to touch Europe, Africa, and one more. What's the one I'm missing?
No,
Australia.
Oh. I've touched North America.
Those are the three that I need to touch still. Yeah. No, you've touched South America too.
South America. That's all we're getting. I stick in the America, I guess. What the heck? Lame.
Oh, I really want to go to Polynesia too. Well, I mean, technically Hawaii is like debatable if it's part of Polynesia. Depends on who you ask. But
it could be a salty subject.
It is, even though it's technically not. If you look at the anthropological perspective, it totally is. Anyways, I think that's the end of the episode.
Yeah, that's it.
What's our quote?
Our quote of this episode is, "Travel expands the mind and fills the gap." And I love this because it can be filling the gap in any, like, given term. It could be you're filling the gap and you just went through, like, a really bad life situation. You need to just get away. Or you want to get away with your partner or your, a friend or your family or whatever. It could be for good. It can be for bad and turn good. I just fill the gap of whatever you're feeling, whether it be happy or empty or whatever. I
like filling the cup. Giving yourself the time you need to.
Yep, and everyone needs
to yourself in some way or another. I also really like the expanding the mind part because, like I've been saying, I really like going places that I get to learn a little bit of something. I like both types of travel. I do like just traveling to go and, drink and whatever. Like, I like that kind. I mean, that was a lot of what New Orleans was. We got drunk pretty much every night, but we also got to see all this history, and I do really like that.
Yeah. You're broadening your horizon a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that because, like, horizon is different. Anyways, that's cute.
Yay! That's our episode.
That's it.
Make sure that you're following us on YouTube. If you're watching us, then please subscribe and hit that like button. If you're listening to us on podcast, you can listen to us on any platform now. And if you're watching or listening on Apple Podcasts, please rate and review us. It really helps us out. We also have a Girls Who Gab Twitter, which is currently not having anything on it because I'm off social media, sorry. And Instagram, which Bailey is running, and I don't honestly know what's on there.
Yeah, I think there's only even 2 posts.
Nice.
Yep.
And then, of course, our personal accounts are all down in wherever you're listening to in the description boxes.
Yes. So
cool.
Now we're done.
Now we can cheers.
Cheers.